horso jigbe ma gi thakurne chokurne bu jigla tubis yini thesom me personde ujin lasin deje khorji kor horso makbung do ber thesomme ujin pema junela soma de sambal hinji do bajinjilo. So this is a Guru Rinpoche horso makdogma. If you ever been to Bunthang Kuje, the central shrine in the cave, Guru Rinpoche's, I mean not cave, the back print, there's a small statue of Guru Rinpoche standing. So that's a Horso Magdogma. Okay, so Horso Magdogma, war, dog, divert. I'm sure you want to know who is this horror. Probably it's a little irrelevant today, but during those days, ancient time, horror was a big, big problem. Mongol, basically Mongol. Mongols, you know, they were really, really big warriors. They were big fighters. They really, you know, like, they go everywhere, looting, you know, like waging war. So the word sok, hor sok, mado, sok is hor, Mongol, sok, etc., meaning it includes. Lots of list is coming out up to here, but I'm going to swallow it down. You understand? Because who knows? These days. But you know what I mean. So there's this sort of atmosphere, there's this sort of energy of dispute, polarization. I mean, like, New York Times reader will be just devoted to that. All the others, they don't read. You understand? Karachi Time reader will never listen to BBC. Just a polarization. Anything. The Karachi Time readers or a Pyongyang Times reader. Pyongyang Time readers will just think that anything coming from New York Times is all lies, vice versa. You know that, right? This is the sort of, and then you know what? This is after all that liberalization, Harvard, Princeton, Yale, this, that, freedom, internet, social medias. You can read anything you like, you know. You know, my generation, me. By the way, I realize I'm quite old. I checked. You know, I'm older than Singapore. Do you know that? I'm older than Singapore. 5 years older than Singapore. So depressing. What do you think? Not only Singapore, 30 nations. I think like Zimbabwe, Kenya, I'm older. Anyway, I existed way before the internet. And I can clearly tell you that the polarization is not this much. This internet is supposedly give us the freedom of information, that everybody is supposed to become open-minded. The elite education, intellectual education, discussions, all this is supposedly make us think really big and open. No, it has become worse. Why? because there is this energy of war. And of course, I've been using the word more, and I'm not talking about Gaza, Ukraine. Of course, they are war, but they are real, gross, tangible, photographical war. I'm talking about much more inner war, polarization, extremism, fanaticism. When I was growing up, there was when I was growing up, the abuse between gender was only between two genders. You know, now there is more genders. I think by now I'm sure there's about 100 genders. And they are going to, and this is going to come to Bhutan, by the way, of course. Polarization, extremism, fanaticism. It's a form of addiction. Now, we want to divert that. What is the best way? Go back to the real Guru Rinpoche. Remember, always? But I know you don't trust this because it's too simple, it's too me. No, not that. So that's fine. So now we have a standing Guru Rinpoche with a katanga. Standing. Because, you know, war, action, standing. With a lesson deje, 8 different kinds of haughty kind of beings. Like one of them, actually, you guys go there quite a lot, I know. Genyin, no, it's Genyin, Chakpamele, Deshinpuk, yeah. He's not the only one, but he's called Genyin. That's one of those haughty. So Guru Rinpoche with 8 haughty, very, very haughty, in other words, easily annoyed. Easily, like Nagas, this Genyin, Tsen, whatever. Out of those 8 haughty ones, my favorite ones are these Nyen. They're my favorite because they really get annoyed easily. And when they get annoyed, the way they punish people is by playing pranks. And those pranks, don't ever think those pranks are small things. They are really big time pranks. Just as you are about to catch your flight to go to Perth, you will lose your boarding pass. You understand? Or something like that. Anyway, so Guru Rinpoche with a Horsoma Dogma. I think I want to tell this, in this atmosphere, in today's situation, please, for the sake of the world, for the sake of ourselves, pray to Guru Horsoma Dogma, Guru Rinpoche diverting all kinds of dispute, polarizations, extremism, divisions. That's it. Okay, let's take a break now. We should take a break. We take a break. Maybe 15 minutes. You can walk around if it is possible. I don't know. Okay. Okay. Just a few more Guru Rinpoche. There are actually 12. So Horsoma Dogma. By the way, each of these Guru Rinpoche has its own sadhanas, teachings, all kinds of activities, if you are interested. But just hearing this is good enough. And in case you wanted to do some prayers, instead of usual, let's say you wanted to really, let's say you have a dispute or a divisions within your own family, within yourself. Many times we have a dispute within ourselves. I don't know, hating yourself, waging war with yourself. That's it. That's the more important. If you are going to go through that, if you're going through that, then visualize. See, the symbolic teachings are actually really good. As much as I have really talked about the real Guru Rinpoche as your mind, that's always there, here and now. But since we can't really relate with that easily, it's good to also rely on the symbolic representation Guru Rinpoche. So, Horso Mak Dogma, if you have a dispute, and also dedicate this to the war, the real war, I mean the external war. So, visualizing Guru Rinpoche in front of you, standing with the main feature is the standing, and surrounded by all sorts of haughty warriors, and doing the Omahung Benza Guru Pema Siddhi Hung or Hung Ujin Yujin Ujansam. This is also good. Okay, now then I will choose one more, few more. This may be good. Samchen Julu Jibin Nejunse MizudunganNej Nyambana Yini Tesoma person, Ujim Menjila, Teze, my impersing, Ujim Pemajun, Swant, Sampal Lungi to Versinj law. This is a medicine, healing Guru Rinpoche. So Guru Rinpoche, the normal form, Guru Rinpoche, but the color is blue. And instead of holding a vajra, the Guru Rinpoche holds this plant called arura. I forgot the English name. But I guess you can let him hold any medicines that you like or you think you need. Anything. Healing. But I think you need, what you need to know is this. Semchen julu jigbi ne jungse, mizu dunganiji, julu jigbi ne jungse, julu, which is such an important word. The word julu has ju. Ju is Maya, illusion, but let me explain this a little bit. It's like this. So, you know, it's just held together. You know, this just held. The stitches held together. Each one of them just holding it together. You understand? Because that's what the tailors did it. That's what the designers did it. You know, like they put it together. Just like a dew in the morning, the grass, just holding it. So it's like this. So ju, lu, body, form, ju, put it together. So it's just holding. It's a good word. Basically, our body, our emotion, our values, our families, is just like this. Just holding, you understand? Any minute it can go. Maybe a string come from here, and then many strings will come. You understand? Of course, you can mend it, but then, it's still holding together. So that's the connotation. So you need to realize that our life is just held together. So when this structure that is being held together temporarily in a transitory manner, then when some of the components are not working, it's called sickness, ailment, loss of energy. So it is at that time you should pray to the blue Guru Rinpoche, Om Ahung Benza Guru Pema Siddhi, all the prayer. Okay. Let's choose some next Guru Rinpoche now. I'm going to skip some. Okay, the next one, Junga. Okay, this is a good one. Junga darlang sachu nyambitse semjin mugin neji nyambana yini tesom meber sowande ujin kandu noli chodangji ulfong tekum sebra tesom me. Guru Rinpoche diverting poverty. Now, this is a really big one because here we are talking about the muge ginne. Muge. The English word famine is not it's not strong enough for the muge. I will tell you what is muge. So, in a certain mathematical manner, Samsung smartphone has become cheaper than 2 kilos of cucumber. Did you know that? Really? Because, think about it. Without Samsung phone, you can still survive. Without the cucumber, chili, what I'm saying is like the real necessary things are becoming rare. These things are getting really amazing, thinner, lighter, cheaper. Food, medicine, the real necessity things. I'm just giving you as an example. Muge, this is the real muge. Basically, the mentality that we don't have enough. Pong, sometimes we call it pong. It's like no contentment. The sort of the inner and secret inflation. You understand? Like inflation. Someone told me that average Thimphu restaurant is more expensive than average Bangkok restaurant. Is that true? Someone told me this. I need to check this out. Sort of believable. I think you got the point. Basically, things that you can do without, they're becoming more easily available, attractive. You want to get it. But the real things that matters are rare, expensive. Muge. And the reason why, reason why it's like this is what we call Jungwa Darlang. The outer and inner and secret elements have become your enemy. This is according to the Tantra. Wow, this is a very big subject. My father wrote a very beautiful poetry in his book called Magic Dance. Maybe it can give you some idea. I'll give you a gist. And then, so usually when we talk about khandoma, now we are talking about a female, khandoma. So usually when we talk about a khandoma, either we are talking about a beautiful lady or a very, very wrathful lady, you know that. But again, real khandoma is the mind. Always go back to the mind. But much more sophisticated, symbolic khandoma is actually the element. So, like the water is actually mamaki dakini. It's a very, very important khandoma. So I think my father's poetry is something like this. Like, oh water, we mistreated you. Oh, Dakini, we mistreated you, calling you water, sometimes putting in the toilet, sometimes, like boiling it, sometimes freezing it. I don't know. Basically, mistreating. But not just this level. We are not good with, environment, are we? We are so bad with the environment. So basically, when we mistreat these 5 dakinis, then I guess this kind of muge, famine or poverty mentality comes. So in order to, dispel that kind of obstacles or this kind of obscurations, we pray to Ujin Khandro Norli Chodangche. Ujin Khandro Norla. It's a little bit like a Guru Rinpoche, like a Zambala, like a wealth. So Guru Rinpoche is holding a mongoose, golden color. Everything very abundant, very, like shiny, jewels, we human beings think jewel is rich. It's always something to do with the human mind. This is important to know. If you are not a human being, if you are from Jupiter, the whole garland of Z means nothing. You understand? It's just some striped black rock, which was hyped by some Tibetans. That's what it is. So let's finish with this one. Now, this is probably a little difficult for you to understand, but I really want to tell you this. It's sort of related to what we call treasure teachings, dharma teachings, but I have to tell you this because I think this is important for you young people, younger generation. Legend Drovitun Terdon, Tamsik Sorzo may be paddingi. Yini Tessom Mabra Swan, the Ujen Yidam Hadang, yet may be Panor Builum, but Tessom, Ujim Pema Junior Swan, the Sambal Jinjilab. It's a Guru Rinpoche who will make sure you get your inheritance. What do you think of that? Are you interested? Panor Builum, but Tessom, Pa Nor. Father's wealth, guaranteed the child will get it. Child will get it. That's the word. But you know, there's a hidden meaning here. Do you know what is the real inheritance? You can now guess. The Buddha nature, the mind. That is your mind. And I really want to tell you this because the young people, I think I talked a little bit earlier, I think the young people are not knowing this inheritance. So you need to really put some effort in acquiring this inheritance. This is your wealth. Basically, you need to get to this level where you really are comfortable with yourself. Who you are, what you are, even if you have two noses. That's me. You understand? Just be comfortable with yourself. Inheritance. What is inheritance? Something that is entitled. Just look at it. Look in your everything, from your garden, from your garage, from your nyetsang, from your storeroom, from your kitchen. Think. There is not a single thing you can actually claim and say, this is mine. Okay, a kilo of butter, you can hold it for how long? It's going to rot. Your friends, families, your values, all this is going to change. But there's one single thing. You can hold on to it and it will never rot. The, inheritance, the real inheritance, the mind. That you have. Nobody needs to give you this. Anyway, if you want to pray to that Guru Rinpoche, usually that Guru Rinpoche comes with some sort of a basket, casket. Okay, casket, like a precious things, like a jewelry box. So it comes in the Guru Rinpoche with some sort of a box, really precious sort of safety box. It works, if you visualize that kind of Guru Rinpoche. Okay, I'm going to skip some Guru Rinpoches because we don't have much time. Okay, this one you need, for sure, I can tell you this. This one you really need it. Namshik tseze, chiwi dujungse, neju dunga takpe nyambane, yi teso mepe sonda, ujin nangwa te dubate, dewa chenji shingdo ngepachi, ujin pema junira sonda, sambatunji dubachi chinchilo. When you die, which you will, of course. There you need Guru Rinpoche, Amitabha Guru Rinpoche. Red color. Okay? Now, let me explain this little bit. So, Guru Rinpoche, for this Guru Rinpoche, Yeah. This Guru Rinpoche is especially good for nature jidunghal, to pacify nature jidunghal. This is a it's a very peculiar suffering. It's a peculiar pain and anxiety. So, now, okay, so for this, see, we are talking about a death, right? But I think the problem with English word death, chi, you know, the word chi is, English word death seems to have the connotation that end. You know, sort of the end, you know. Nature jidunghal is not necessarily like that. It's a bit like, what happens if your exhaust pipe in the car doesn't work anymore? Can you imagine? Like that. Or ventilator stops, car stops. So you have to think that you, me, us, we are a machine, basically. Very, very sophisticated, complicated, sophisticated, well-designed machine. And when part of the machine fails, then that failure has an impact, and that's called nature jidunghal, the nature. Sort of, I told you, remember, the ventilator doesn't work, what to do now? Call, rescue, I don't know, whatever. So here you need to call Guru Rinpoche, Ujanawathai Drupaten. Ujanawathai is usually Red Guru Rinpoche, basically Amitabha. Okay? Okay, one more. Okay. Yang ledang change wangjur de chunang opor shenjing dunghal na yinji tetsom meper somande ujin deshin jebi ngod dunghal dropa tseli shibaji ujin pema jungla son sambal lunji dropa chinji lo. This is quite a unique Guru Rinpoche. The Guru Rinpoche comes in the form of deshin jebo. Kind of a very, very blissful, dancing, celebratory, attractive. Lot of garlands, lots of meat, you know. Anyway, and this is specifically to dispel yourself from delusion. Now let's talk about delusion. Delusions we have. We have a lot. How do we begin? I mean, so much. Like, like planning future, almost all of them is a delusion, actually. Well, the actual planning is not really delusion. Believing that this will happen, for sure. Another, referring to the past, history. Using the history as a reference to, what do you call it? Monitor, function this life. Think. Maybe a little complicated. Let's think. Now. This moment is all you have. But you are doing something, you are planning something. And whatever plan you have, it has to do with two things. One is based on something about the past. So ridiculous, actually. Even though sometimes we say, oh, past is past, finished. Not easy to forget. Grudge, jealousy, all kinds of things. Then the second thing you do is you are anxious about the future. Again, it's a delusion. Because whatever you are worrying about, you will keep on worrying, of course, because you are not used to dwell in the present moment. Ujin deshin jebingo. It's quite an interesting that this Guru Rinpoche is kind of like a babyish, naked, a lot of, like jolly, really, really big symbolic teaching. Like babies, our babies, they don't think about the past, not much. They don't think about the future. Whenever they want to cry, they will just cry. Even during the most important, family gathering, they are not going to wait until it's finished. Also, kids, they say things. You understand? They say, there's a hair growing from your nose. Something like that. Just as you are trying to impress your new date, this baby says this. But Dechen Jalpo means Jalpo, king, Dechen, Mahasuka, bliss. Baby, when they do this, we don't really get mad as much. Okay, like if an adult, just as you are about to, kiss your first date, and an adult comes and says, hey, there's a nose, hair, you get really angry with this adult, isn't it? But if a baby says this, not that much. Or you even get amused, or you will forgive, or you will even play. Why? Because the baby is, baby is not in the past, not in the future. So the baby is not a threat to you. See, you and me, we are all a threat to each other. Threat. You understand? Threat. We are all a threat. So nobody is like sort of, what is he going to think about me? All that. We are threat. No dechen, no relax, no like, whatever. Not like the babies. They will just cry. They will just laugh. This, you need to gain that Deshen Jebo spirit, so to speak. So for that, there's a Guru Rinpoche that's very jovial, kind of a kiddish, teenager also, beautiful, beautiful ornament, dancing, like that. Probably try to pray to him sometimes. Okay, let's chant some mantras together. Om Aham Benza Guru Pema Siddhi 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 Om Aham Benza Guru Pema Om Aham Benza Guru Pema Siddhi Om Aham Benza Om Aham Benza Guru Pema Siddhi Hum. Okay, let's now, I think it's important to dedicate this good deed for the benefit of all sentient beings, for the longevity of all those who benefit other beings. That's it.